Hello, everyone. Once again, welcome back this year to another rendition of Corsace Open. This time, 32, as well as some minor changes to the match format. Still got the everyone. Once again, welcome back this year to another rendition of Corsace Open. This time for 2021. At it again, but now with 64 teams making it to the bracket instead of 32, as well as some minor changes to the match format. Still got the pick band draft you all know, and hopefully even more hype than we had in our spectacular run last year, where we had some insane matches from round of 32 all the way to the top of the bracket grand finals. So what we're doing in this stream is first we're gonna roll through a video, the epic hype funny intro video. And then Fire Rage will be here to go through the match format for anyone who hasn't played last year's Corsace Open, as well as the new changes this year. And last but not least, we have the qualifiers Mappool showcase, which will be casted by none other than Azer and Legless for today. Of course, as last year, all of our beat maps are custom mapped, but this time around, we have our qualifiers Mappool custom mapped as well. Since all of them are custom mapped, as last time, we have tagged them all for your convenience in OSU. More info will be provided later in the stream though. Make sure to sign up for a qualifier in the Corsace Open qualifiers page. But that's all for now. Let's get the show on the road.
FTG, Matthew, and Beastro gonna find a break just before.
Lil Cookie holds through them. What is happening? Oh my god.
So far, no breaks. I lied.
Everyone is breaking!
Oh my Jesus!
This is a disaster.
Come on, I just want to see the last quarter of the map.
What? What?
Slider breaks and drops it. That's the biggest combo for floating up breaks in the slow section.
And he breaks as
He
well.
is matching Bubbleman and Doomy is matching Okinamo. There's everyone, literally everyone besides Bubbleman. Pick breaks.
Oh, the move broke on the slider.
The side of Greg. Putting on Greg. Needs it. Greg.
Oh my god!
Open.corsace.io. There's a fancy graphic.
Hello everyone, I'm Azer, and it's finally time to welcome everyone to Corsace 2021, where the world's best players will be competing on over 100 new maps by all of your favorite mappers. And to let us all know how it will happen, I'd like to welcome Fiery Rage, who will explain the Corsace format.
How's it going, everyone? Alright. So, Corsace does matches a little bit differently than most tournaments. If you've watched Corsace Open 2020, you are probably very familiar with it. There are a couple of differences, though. Just to recap. For matches played from round of 64 to round of 16, this is different. Each match starts as a best of 9 now, with all picks and bans determined prior to the match being played. Pretty straightforward for the most part. However, for quarterfinals onward, the actual match is not over once this first match is played. There are multiple played over the course of the full match. Each of these are called a set. You can see that in the little graphic there. For quarterfinals and semifinals, these sets are best of 7. There are a total of 3 sets that will be played. The first to win 2 of these sets overall wins the overall match. For finals, sets are best of 9 again, much like round of 64 to round of 16. Best of 3 once again, best of 3 sets. First to win 2 of the sets wins. And then for grand finals, we go back to sets being best of 7 matches. Once again a total of 5 sets being played. The team coming from the winner's bracket, this is not shown here, but the team coming from the winner's bracket will have a 1-set advantage starting this match in the grand finals. Once again, the first to win 3 sets overall wins the tournament. Now for the general match process, if you've played in Corsace Open 2020, It's generally the same. Matches will start off with a roll. The winner of the roll will determine whether or not they want to be Team 1 or Team 2, as you see on the graphic. This essentially determines the pick and ban order for these sets. For using the Grand Finals as reference, for the first set, Team 1 will ban first, followed by Team 2. Team 1 then picks a map, followed by Team 2. After these first 2 picks, Team 2 then bans another map, followed by Team 1. Team 2 picks again. Team 1 gets 2 picks in a row, followed by, in the case of Grand Finals, the final pick from Team 2. That is all there is for sets of best of 7. For the best of 9s, if we can get the round of 64 showed here. For best of 9s, there are still picks and bans afterwards, so after that final pick, or not final pick, another round of bans will commence, starting with Team 2 and then proceeding to Team 1. Team 2 then picks, and Team 1 gets the final pick. If the scoreline is tied after all of these picks are completed, the tiebreaker will be played. For quarterfinals onwards, after this first set, every subsequent set will have the teams switch places. So if you were Team 1 in the first set, you'll be Team 2 in the second set, and so on and so forth. Each of these subsequent sets also will allow you to carry over 1 ban from the previous set. That is to say, if you banned, let's say, Nomad 4, Hidden 2, and Hard Rock 1 during the first set, if it is a best of 9 set, then you are able to ban one of those immediately before the match process begins for the next set. Do note that, however, for Grand Finals, this does not apply to the final 5th set if it is played. So you can see right there, it'll be a fresh restart given the circumstances for Grand Finals. That is about it in terms of the match process. For the most part, pretty much the same as Corsace Open 2020. A few differences, mostly in regards to the best of 9 matches for round of 64, round of 16, and finals. But otherwise, not too much has changed.
All right. Well, thank you for the explanation. And after that, we will be moving on with another guest I'd like to welcome, Mr. Legless.
What is up, gamers? I am here with Azer, ready to introduce you to some very, very good custom mapping and some very, very good pools. I really, really like the design of these pools, and I really hope that everyone can play them to their full potential, really.
Yeah, as noted in the beginning, usually, well, at least not usually. Last year, Corsace was not custom map for the qualifiers, but we decided to go all the way this year. We did custom map everything in the qualifiers, and so there's a lot of good stuff. As always, I think it's always my favorite part is just announcing all these new maps that people have been working for like 8 months on, and people finally get to play them. Most of these, if not all of these, will all be available for download like right away. So if we're all ready to go, we can get started with the qualifiers.
Let's go.
All right, Nomad 1 time is mapped by none other than Mordred. It's going to be Gaikon No Prominence.
The classic custom mapper here, Mordred, bringing out yet another very talented Nomad 1. I don't know where he got this song, but this is a pretty good one in the sense of you want Nomad 1 to be extremely consistent in difficulty, and consistent in difficulty this is.
Yeah, this is, I mean, we have to say this like every time. You know, it's Nomad 1, haha, like funny, but it's pretty good. This is actually very, very enjoyable to play for how long this is, right? So
I'm actually kind of surprised that the star rating is only 6.6 stars for 2 reasons. First of all, the map looks really difficult, even if it's not super hard to play, but like there's like full cross-screen jumps and 190 DPM. Feels like a lot. But also that a 6.6 star Nomad 1 is probably not the hardest qualifier pool you've ever seen. It's an interesting decision that we made, but I think it's a really enjoyable one. It also includes a lot of, non-top players into this tournament, especially since we have 64 teams making it out of qualifiers.
Yeah, like this should be comfortable for just about everyone to play. Like this isn't everybody can play this to a certain extent, right? It's just that it's so long that you need to be really consistent to get a good score, right? So it's still able to determine like who's better than the other, right? So
yeah, and since we have a little bit of free time here with no mod 1s, and we're basically going to be seeing the same styles of jumps throughout the entire map, we can talk a little bit about the Mappool structure. I really like the structure of this qualifiers pool. This applies less to no mod than it does for the other rounds or other mods, but there are actually quite a few what you would call sort of like unconventional picks that are actually really well made for the sake of balance in this pool. I like it. I like how we kind of break the mold a little bit here, because I feel like qualifier pools have been somewhat complacent over the last couple of years. So props to the pooling team and the mappers, of course.
yeah, there's a lot of most of the slots are defined to be certain things, but of course with qualifiers there's only 8 maps, so it's a little bit harder to fit everything in. But we certainly tried this time around, and I would say it's quite a success. There's a lot of pretty enjoyable like skill set overlaps that you're about to see soon enough.
Yeah, it's interesting when you only have 2 maps per mod. Exactly. This map is definitely a nerve, you know, a clencher, let's just say. A bit of a clencher, especially if you're holding a really, really good score to this point. There are a lot of angles and also triple stacks that just sometimes you'll just miss for no reason at all.
Yeah, I mean, it looks comfortable, but there's always some parts that are just going to get you sometimes, right?
Honestly, like, Mordred just kind of does that. I don't know why, but it's probably because of the, like, slightly linear jumps he puts in literally every map, even the no-mod ones. But it's just like, if you shake and get nervous, you just have a really, really bad time on these.
I think that's a good thing. I think that's always the end goal when you're making something that's not supposed to be super complicated. It's just that it looks easy enough to play. I mean, this sure does, right? Like, I'm sure we're gonna see a couple of SSs considering it's only qualifiers, right? And I mean, we're looking at one right now.
Yeah, but I mean, you want people to practice. You know, you can't make everything sight read FCable.
I do think this is sight read FCable. Like this one in particular, yeah.
For some people. I like how we had a long break there just to go into the last 2 notes. It's really fun.
Someone's gonna mess up an SS on that. 100%. 99%.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I just saw a bunch of people gifting tier 1 subs. Thank you, real cute. Just random tier 1 subs.
Alright,
Good
so
stuff.
that is no mod 1. One common thing before we get into no mod 2, one common thing last year that I think we got a little bit wrong is that I think we messed up a little bit on what no mod 2 should be, and we ended up fixing that by the end of the last Corsace Open, but this time we're definitely going into it with lessons learned, and so no mod 2 should have a lot less like Excel streams and a lot less like aim complexity. It should just be straight up about speed. So whenever we're ready, we can get into the no mod 2. It's going to be a map by Fisky. Is Ring Run Nyan.
Yeah, this is a very fun, playful map, as you can probably tell. It's also quite short, but I really do like Fisky. He's a pretty cool up-and-coming mapper. And this map is definitely not generic at all. It looks super fun. Has a lot of interesting stream shapes, looking cool slider patterns. It follows the song really well, too. I just think this is an all-around great map, although it did need to get buffed.
Yeah, I think this is a good one. It's pretty condensed, right? It's only 2 minutes. This is a song from Sound Voltex.
Yeah, and it's actually surprisingly not a very high combo map. The map itself, even though it's supposed to have streams as its main skill set, it actually doesn't even exceed 1,000 combo.
Yeah, I will say it starts picking up a little bit more on the second half. First half is a lot more about... Nice. Forgot that was there. Thank you, Cavo.
With the extra asterisk in for good measure.
Uh-huh.
Thanks, Cavo. Great SS replay as well.
So it should start picking up a little bit more here. Like, this is more along the lines of what people would expect.
Yeah, long streams, long chains, lots of spacing changes, angle changes as well. Not a walk in the park, that's for sure. The diff name used to be a lot longer, but we nuked it for 2 reasons. Coming to the home stretch here, we have a couple more slider patterns and a couple more space streams until it's just last stream there, and done. Oh yeah, and a good slider. People have broken on the slider in test plays.
Yeah, there's definitely a couple parts too that I think the aim can catch you off guard. Like so there's some streams with like transitions with like one singular note that's like higher distance from the others. I can definitely see some people messing up on those, but so far I think that's a great map.
I also heard that the sliders used to be a lot like the you call them kick sliders. I used to call them Etna sliders because you know that was like the 2010 term. But like those
I've
sliders
never heard
used
of
to
that.
be way
Really?
faster. I don't know. It's an old mapper thing that I like just read up on the wiki in like 2013 or something. It's
Oh
ridiculous.
wow. I feel like I should know that, but I don't.
We're all boomers here.
All right. Well, one more lesson learned about No Mod 3 as well. One slight adjustment that we have done is it's now you'll see soon enough, but it's more so a slider map than a rhythm map. We've kind of moved a lot of the rhythm elements of that slot onto other slots that make a lot more sense. So No Mod Tech players rejoice. What even is No Mod 3? Let's find out. It's going to be a map by Altai. It's going to be Valanga, the Polisha remix.
Valanga, also a well-known rhythm game song, but as you can see, probably the most striking thing you can see immediately is that this map is 200 BPM. Definitely faster than you're used to seeing in the tech slot, so we've sort of cut down on the sort of jump streams and stuff like that, and mostly just moved it back to the sliders and bursts focus.
Yeah, this is all about just fast sliders. You'll see soon enough. Pretty much the whole map revolves around these, and not a lot of them are going to be cheesable. And there's not a lot of rhythm complexity. For the most part, it's pretty straightforward.
Banger map though, and once again an SS replay in here from Flying Tuna. Quite surprising considering the sliders that are present in this map.
It is insane not to drop any slider ends on this. Like,
That's
actually
really ridiculous. We are blessed that Tuna is able to do replays for us, considering that like it's super surprising that he wouldn't be playing in the tournament.
Yeah, we're gonna need him for the later showcases. There's a lot of maps that like not many people can play, and if they can play it, they're probably playing in the tourney. So it's always a blessing to have people like Tuna around.
Yeah, and coming to the last part here, you can see the burst stream starting to catch up here. A little bit of a finger control element here, but it's not excessive. What a banger. Man, Polisha is an underrated artist, honestly. FA win. Wait, is he an FA? Wait.
I don't believe so.
I don't think so. Deserves it, though. This cursor movement is so clean. A couple linear jumps at the end for good measure as well. Oh, Real Lazy saying he is indeed FA. It's hard to keep up at this point.
Oh. Yeah, there's actually quite a lot recently, huh? They've been pushing a lot more people. It's always nice to see more FAs.
Yeah, you get the good money. Rhythm games are getting pretty big now, to be honest. Jeez.
And yeah, indeed, very little cut streams in that one. It's very hard to do. It's very hard to pull it off, but Altai did it.
All right then.
All right, so one more no mod. It's going to be the alt slot. Although worth noting, I do believe this replay is a full single tap replay, but that is because it's from a very, very fast player who I'm sure you'll see many replays from throughout the tournament. Let's get right into it. It's going to be a map by Lusky. Shippunjirai. Let's say that. I don't know.
Shippunjirai. Let's go. Anime song, technically. It's from Fairy Tail, but I don't know what part of the show it's from because I never watched it.
Dude. Anime. Let's go.
Yeah,
I mean, no, it didn't sound like it to me.
True. This map is only 135 BPM, so it is easily single tappable. I mean, if anyone knew like me from 2017, I would single tap every alt map, even if it were 160 BPM. So I would totally single tap this. But yeah, great song. Lusky also a great up and coming mapper. I mean, he's been around for a while, but only gone to tourney customing pretty recently. Great Finnish mapper. As you can see, I really like this map because it brings in a really good balance between flow aim and snap aim. Another good thing that the 135 BPM brings along is the ability to smash both of those skill sets in here really, really seamlessly.
Yeah, I think so far, compared to the other maps we've seen, I would say this is probably one of the easier ones. At least if you're comfortable either alternating at this BPM or just single tapping it, I guess. Apparently. Like, there isn't too much complexity, like a little bit of aim control here and there on some parts, but...
Yeah, well, I mean, this map was also, had a lot of changes to make the difficulty more consistent recently. But overall, it's just a pretty good test for anyone who wants to prove that they're a good alt player.
It's also pretty short. It's only about 2 minutes.
Yeah, 3 of the 4 no-mod maps are actually quite short. All the ones that are not no-mod 1, but I mean, we kind of make up for that with a lot of the other maps in the pool later on.
Yeah, that might be a little bit weird potentially. Well, that ending is actually quite hard. Nice.
Yeah.
It might be a little weird potentially because usually the no-mod alt slot is going to be taken by like 3.5-minute maps, like 4-minute maps, just meant to showcase consistency. But this one's a little bit more condensed, which is always fine. I think short. No one's ever going to complain about a short map in a pool.
Although it does pay to be consistent on that map, especially when some of those chains look really, really, note lockable.
Yeah. All right, so that's all the qualifier no mod maps. Let's now step into the hidden territory. Let's get started with a map by IO Exception. This is probably my personal favorite.
I mean, this map is just really nuts. It's also on an absolute banger of a track.
Yeah,
like,
so
fellas.
Here's M2U Fellas, and I just want to point out that this map is AR 9.6. It is very comfortable, and if you wait a minute or so, you'll see exactly why.
Gosh, it just feels so satisfying to watch someone play this map. Oh gosh. Yeah, when I heard this song release, I was like, someone has to map this in at least some rhythm game, right? The rhythms in this song are just so crisp. I love the composition. So we're just gonna build up to the first Ki here, and you'll see exactly why we love this map so much.
Oh,
I don't know, like, there's not much you can
it's so
say.
good.
I just wanted to, like, just say nothing so you can just hear the
It's so
absolute
good.
crispness.
We just had to take that in.
Yeah, it's so beautiful.
Anyway, so that I'm assuming that is why the AR on this map is so high. Patterns like that kind of just require it for qualifiers at least. So it looks very comfortable, but yeah, there's some very, very interesting patterns on this. It's always going to be very fun to play.
Also a very note-lockable map, as you can kind of see. I personally originally thought this map was like way too hard until I saw someone who was good play it, but they got similar scores on this compared to a lot of the other maps in the pool, so I was like, yeah, okay, never mind. Oh, perfect stack there. Watch out for that as well. Practice.
Yeah, I think this might be one of the more like polarizing maps potentially. Like either you're just really good at this and you really like it, or you just can't play it and it's just gonna tank your qualifier score maybe. Like I don't know, but.
I mean, even if you can't play this, you can definitely appreciate how cool this map is. Like, holy crap.
It's so nice.
The perfect stack is because it's the same rhythm as the one before the first Ki. I mean, that was our rationale for not changing it, but whatever.
I mean, it's a hidden map pool, right? It's kind of expected that stuff pops up here and there. It's more or less expected that people should be able to read those, and at least, if not, then memorize it. I guess it's just
Practice. Okay, but how hard is it to like memorize the rhythm? Da 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 da. Like what?
Yeah, like, it makes sense.
All right.
So with that map being a little bit more on the high end of approach rate and pattern complexity, we're going to take a complete 180 and let's go into the other hidden qualifier map by Lucent. If you're an OC boomer, this song may or may not be familiar. It's going to be More and More Lovers.
DJ Sharpnel is the only reason anyone knows the song.
Yep. I was trying to place it in my head like earlier today. Like I was going through the maps. I was like, where did I hear this before? Like this is just straight out of like 2013 or something. I couldn't place exactly who did it.
Yeah, man.
I don't know. It's just one of those things where you just hear the song and you're like, yep, I know this from like 10 years ago.
Yeah. So you can see this is like pretty classic Lucid mapping, very aim based. Some awkward and linear aim here, but it's again not really excessive. If you're a reading player, this probably actually shouldn't be too much trouble for you. But it is very difficult. It is very hard, very easy to lose your nerve and just miss a random nose somewhere. So keep your guard up.
Yeah, one thing I noticed, I would say, I don't know when exactly this started. I would say maybe OWC 2019, I believe, when it was Maze of Vapors.
Yeah,
I think ever since then, I think people started putting a lot more awkward aim in their Air 8 maps. I think like it has a very positive reaction. Like I don't know when this transition happened of like we are playing 2011 AR8 maps to like, oh, we're playing Delis maps, but they're AR8, like, I kind of like it though. It adds a lot more complexity, but it also makes it, I think, a lot more playable. It's less so about like reading weird like stacked patterns and more so just about aiming at a lower approach rate, which I think is what this slot should have been from the first place, right?
Yeah, well, that was sort of the modernization of hidden 2 or low AR picks in general. Gotta get with the times. Because it feels like a very good hybrid between what we had in, old mapping with their linear patterns, but also with the knowledge that new mappers have today about how to make maps. And, we know that a lot of old maps are indeed kind of flawed, to be honest. So it really patches that stuff up.
Well, of course, as always, I think it's going to be very polarizing, depending on if you can play it or not. But that's okay.
Personally, when I played this, I actually felt it was one of those hidden 2s that actually might be more accessible to people who are not specialized in reading. Like,
I think so too. I've always thought so. Like this mapping style makes the Air 8 slot a lot more accessible to people that don't normally play it.
But you still need to be good at it. You still need to be good at low AR to get a very good score on this map, which is a thing.
All right, 6 maps down. Now we've got the Hard Rocks and the DTs to go. Let's go with the Hard Rocks. Let's take a complete 180 in the music genre again. It's going to be a map by Elcheer from Eternal Tears of Sorrow. It is Dark Alliance.
To the metal. Yeah. I mean, we kind of expected that for a harder one, but this is a really, really interesting map. A super interesting map, even if it's kind of generic in terms of style, because this map is like a complete, like, it tests both aim and stream, which is a really interesting thing, because normally people think of HR1s like, ooh, no mod 1, but it's AR10 and has full circles. But if you only have 2 Hard Rocks, it's really hard to do that, because then it limits you in what you can do for HR2 without ruining the balance of the pool. And another thing that's interesting is that this map used to be no mod 2 in round of 16 until we moved it to qualifying. So, yeah. Nice accuracy.
Yeah, I think those those 2 slots can overlap a little bit. We try a little bit to distinguish them a little bit. I think this does feel like a very standard hard rock map. Like this will be very comfortable for anyone who normally plays this kind of stuff, even people who don't, I would say.
You do need a fair amount of stamina for this, though, and this map actually needed quite a few nerfs, because the streams were originally way too hard.
It's only 190 though, so I guess it's not too bad.
Yeah, but compared to the other maps in the pool, you know. Thank you, Yaz, for bringing the Summer Cup over here, as, you know, rating our stream. Hype.
It's also another thing we've been kind of trying to do with the pools is just introduce more song variety. And we've brought in a lot of different mappers who prefer different song genres, right? A lot of people would associate, for example, Mazarin or LMT to this kind of music, right? But we're trying to diversify things a little bit as well, like make other people try new things. And I think over the course of the tournament, we're gonna start seeing a lot of song genres that are not only new for the mappers themselves, but just as the player experience is going to be pretty interesting, because it's going to be a pretty fresh way to experience that type of music.
Mark my words, man. Corsace Open 2025 will have Mongolian throat singing. Alright, here comes another big stream. Yeah, the spacing is very intense. Dude, I've heard of like Mongolian throat singing metal. Like, you could do that.
Yeah, I'm sure you could. Yeah. Don't give half-slash ideas, but yeah. It's not 2025 yet.
He did dumb apps. But yeah, Elcheer is just a really solid fundamentals mapper as well. Was here for Corsace Open 2020 as well. Loyal to the cause. Mongolian throat singing rap, Dada says. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that's actually one other thing we can touch on as well. We do have a lot of repeat mappers from last year. We kind of invited all of them back. The main difference, I think, though, is last year we had a relatively low amount of mappers, so certain mappers would end up doing a lot of things, sometimes even on the same pool. Like we saw Yaspo and I think like Impure Pug having like 2 or 3 maps or even 4 maps on the same pool, right? That's not something that's going to happen this year. We had access to a lot more mappers and we started a lot earlier. So most of the mappers are not going to have a lot of pools, but that also means we get to make room for a lot of new mappers that some have never even tourney mapped ever before, right? So there's a lot of new faces that are be coming up, and we get to promote a lot of newer mappers.
Yeah, and I really like the evolution of the concept of the custom map for the tourney. I just really like that concept as a thing of someone not mapping for the rank section, but mapping for competition. While sometimes we are constrained by meta or sometimes that kind of thing, I really like the amount of creativity that can come from this. And it involves people like, you know, me, former pooler, to step in with a completely different role compared to before. So yeah, I love it.
All right, so now the last Hard Rock, another very familiar name who has done a lot last year. Let's see, Hard Rock 2 by Kip Alt. It's going to be introspect. And if I'm not wrong, I believe this is also a recycled map.
Recycled as in?
I believe this was meant to be used last year or something.
Ah.
And we couldn't fit it anywhere, so now it's here.
I mean, it fits in perfectly here, because this map is really cool, because in contrast to the like 100% fundamentals, no HR1, we have pretty much 100% gimmick in my opinion. So we have an alt BPM, we have 1/6 patterns, we have small circles. It's got everything.
So I will say, hands down, I think this is the hardest qualifier map, score-wise, at least. Maybe not to play. Like, there's a lot of complexity in this. You can see by just the replay accuracy, where Tuna has 97% on this. So a lot of rhythm complexity, a lot of finger control on CS 6.5 as well, right? So it's not something that everyone will be comfortable on. It's not impossible by any means, but definitely some lower scores to be expected on this, I think.
Yeah, and I will say, like, this map had to be nerfed. This map definitely had to be nerfed from its first iteration. Like, it was so easy beforehand to just overtap the 1/6s and just miss a note or completely wreck your accuracy. And also the alt tempo flow patterns were also way harder, like way harder.
So one more thing to note as well, since I was mostly talking about Mappool format and things we've moved around a little bit, shifted here and there. I did mention how we shifted rhythm out of certain picks and stuff like that. Last year, Hard Rock 1 was mostly a finger control pick slot, right? A lot of rhythm complexity, a lot of finger control, and not many people liked that, and not many people were able to play it at all. So that has, you're not going to see that in qualifiers because there's no free mod, but it has largely just been moved to a free mod slot to make room for other mapping styles in both every other slot, right? So free mod now kind of has more rhythm complexity in general. I believe there's like on some pools there are even 2 picks that are fairly complicated, and will allow people to pick either mod they want to play those things, right? So it's going to be, I think, more player friendly. And I think the people who prefer playing more traditional hard rock maps in this example, I think are gonna like that, because then they don't have to play like 91% maps that I've been getting for like the last like 4 rounds or something. Like that's just free mod now. So you only have to make one person on your team suffer.
True that, and there are no free mods in qualifiers, because who wants to do that?
All right. So only 2 DT maps remaining. And typically DT1 is always going to be the easier map in the pool. Highest score on average. The most people are able to play this. So let's get right into it. It's going to be a map by Nightly's. It's going to be Breeze Spinner by Pyroka.
Yeah, but this was a little weird because it again, we mashed a lot of skill sets into one map. This map encompasses high BPM as well as high AR as well as consistency. So, and you can see that there are quite a few burst stream patterns in this one. So it's not the straightforward DT1 that a lot of people have come to expect.
Yeah, once you see the other DT with this will make a lot more sense. But just keep in mind, this looks very comfortable, I would say. But there are 266 bursts, so you know it can be a little bit hard. I can't play this.
Yeah, it is AR 10.02 or 10.2, so it is pretty high AR.
I think that's also kind of a shift that was necessary, like just pushing for DT to be a little bit more AR, like not too extreme, but like the solo play meta has kind of evolved to feature a lot more high approach rate stuff, right? So I think it makes sense for tournaments to follow suit. Mostly also because historically, the consistency DT pick or whatever was just always the easiest map and the most people could play it. So I think it was fair to make it a little bit harder, bump it up a little bit to be more in line with the other maps in the pool, right? So
yeah, but interestingly enough, another thing that this brings to the table is I don't know. This is a weird opinion because I this is just from my experience of playing the map, but I actually feel like this map is somewhat more accessible to players who are not DT mains. I don't know. It just feels that way, even if it's speedy. It's really hard. It's paradoxical, but.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's that speedy, to be honest. Like some of the bursts are fast, but in general, it's quite. There isn't that much going on, right? It's easy to follow as well. There's not really any like pattern or finger control or anything in this. It's very straightforward.
Yeah, exactly. And also the the rhythms and the aim like angles are pretty intuitive. So. Good song. I love Pyroka. Man, I wish they would make. Wait, do they still make music? I think like most of the music is like really cool.
I do believe they do stuff here and there, very rarely, but like exclusively for rhythm games.
I see. Bass still.
I'm not quite sure actually. Maybe that's of like last year or something like that. I'm not quite sure.
Very fun map. It's not boring. It's really not boring at all. Like DT1, usually people think of it as boring, but combined with the skill sets and the good song, it's not boring.
I mean, I think so far that can be said for all of the typically boring slots in this pool. Like everything seems very fun to play, and the songs are all pretty good. Like I don't know. These are all hits to me. There's no misses yet.
True that.
And now for the last map. So this is a bit of a curveball, music genre wise, but let's go. So this is going to be a Necrogoblicon map, killing time and space.
Featuring some banger banjo.
It's gonna be by Gordon. This map also has some pretty spicy key sounding, but it's DT, so it sounds a little bit weird a little bit, but I mean it's pretty good. Just pointing it out because I don't. A lot of people will just turn it off, but it's there if you want to listen.
I want to hear that match, dude. But yeah, no, Gordon, super talented new mapper. I actually love most of the things he does. You can see a very finger control heavy map, as well as being AR 8 before DT. So this is a quote unquote low AR pick that we were talking about.
Yeah, this is a little bit of the mash between, like usually you would have like 3 or 4 DTs, right? So you'd have like a low BPM like stamina one, and then like a finger control one, and like one of them is going to be like a Air 8 Toho map from like 2014 or whatever. Like that's usually how the DT pools go. We've kind of just mashed all that for this one. I think it's still accessible. Like it doesn't go too far in either direction. The finger control isn't too hard. Most of the time you're just going to have a lot of doubles. But yeah, there is a little bit of stamina involved. Like some of the streams go on for a little bit.
Yeah, it's like 236 BPM, which is, you know, fast by normal standards, but not excessive for DT standards. Shoutouts to Ro for the replay. Sus. This song's pretty sus. Featured artist, by the way.
It's always nice to use featured artist music, actually.
Yeah.
It's just a great feeling just to be able to do it.
Wouldn't be surprised if later Corsaces had feature artist only pools. We probably would have enough feature artists at that point, to be honest.
I think that's always going to be the end goal. Might take a while to reach because there's a lot of songs that are needed to make a Mappool, but
Can't believe Osu is real. Time is always sus.
yeah, that's also quite a short map. It's only about 2 minutes with DT, but again, very condensed. I think probably for the better. Most people just tend to prefer shorter maps, and here you go. The majority of the pool is short. I think there's only like 3 or 4 songs that are over 3 minutes, so should
Get
make
ready.
for a fantastic qualifier experience.
Yeah, sign up today. Get ready for the hype tournament. Oh wait, they are. Sign-ups are closed. My bad. Sign up for your qualifier lobbies. Do it. Do it.
All right.
So for your convenience here, we have to search for the maps by tag. Since we have applied standardized tags for all of the slots, you can easily search CO 2021 for Corsace Open, as well as the round and the map slot code. Oh, something loud? Oh, my bad. Or Cavo was bad, whatever. When you see it. When you see it. Anyways, that's just for your convenience. All of the maps should be uploaded onto Osu now. They should also be on the website. Make sure to head over to open.corsace.io.
We need to bring Monko in for that one. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for today's introduction stream. Thank you so much for joining us. We're all looking forward to see the great matches that will follow through. Qualifiers are going to be played next weekend, as well as the round of 64 showcase. Again, as mentioned, there's going to be a lot more teams this year. 64 slots post qualifiers, so an extra round as well. So looking forward to see everyone play. And that's about it.
Yeah. Have fun, guys. See you next week.
Take care, everybody.
Peace.